My flight was once delayed because of a child's Disneyland balloon. This is that story. I'm Briana Hansen, and this is A Spark. So I fly a lot. I'm a keynote speaker. I'm on airplanes a lot. Now, I will give you a quick side note. I don't love flying. I don't like it. I don't know if it's a control thing. I don't know if it's a past life thing. I don't know what it is, but I used to be totally fine with flying. And then I used to be really, really bad at flying. And now I went back to being okay with flying. And as I'm recording this podcast, it is uh, in the middle of the year. It's July of 2025. And I'm going back towards getting really nervous when flying. But generally speaking, I'm somewhere in the okay-ish when it comes to flying. But I have to do it all the time. So I have to constantly face my fears and anxieties and learn to trust and get over them and get over myself and get over some of the narratives, which, even if justified at times, are not helpful, because I'm a keynote speaker and I love to travel. So the reality of my world right now is I have to get on airplanes to do the thing that I love, which is explore new worlds, travel, see new people, and do the programs that I love to do across the country. So I have a number of bizarre airport incidences, but one kind of took the cake. I'm on a flight and we're all sitting ready to go. And suddenly there's a bit of a hullabaloo, and it's happening in the row right in front of me. And if you know anything about flying at the moment, whenever there's a hullabaloo, it's like never good news. Someone might be having a medical issue. Someone might be, popping off to a flight attendant, which I have been on flights. I was actually on a flight once where we were actually moving. We were moving towards, it was our turn to get in line to be the next ones to start flying. And the person sitting right behind me was popping off to the flight attendant. They didn't like it. They called the pilot. We turned around. That person was escorted off the plane. Always be kind to your flight attendant. Anyway, so there's some hullabaloo, and I'm like, oh no, whenever there's hullabaloo, it's not great. Now this hullabaloo, I hear a couple voices taking the cake on this hullabaloo, and they're passenger voices. And one is an angry man, angry middle-aged man. And I don't know if he's deeply angry, though I would imagine there's something in him that must be, based on what you will hear in this story. But in this moment, he's peeved, and he's ticked off because there is a child who has a balloon from Disneyland in front of him. Now, it's not like he needed a good view of the aisle. What he's upset about is, he says if we go up in the air, that balloon will pop and it will scare everyone on the plane into thinking something really, really scary is happening on the airplane. So he's saying to the parents of this child, we can't have that balloon. We have to pop that balloon right now. This is so inappropriate. The parents are, and as a parent myself now, I was not at the time, but are understandably like, dude, the kid wants to have his balloon that they probably paid. It's a Disneyland balloon. They probably paid like $20 minimum for this balloon. My kid wants to take this balloon that they just got, that they're very excited about, on this airplane. Just let him have it, Just like, what's the big deal? The man is again convinced, because of the air pressure in the cabin, whatever, he's making a very strong, very angry case that we can't fly because everyone's going to think like something really scary happens mid-flight, and he's trying to, in his mind, protect the rest of the flight. Meanwhile, the parents are like, the kid's just standing there innocently with this balloon, and the parents are like, I'm not doing that. Like, that's ridiculous. We, paid $50 for this stupid balloon. But hundreds of dollars for the experience of going to Disneyland. My kid wants it on. Just like, let him. So the hullabaloo is escalating. Nobody's backing down. And in come the flight attendants to chat with people. All this stuff's happening. The guy's point is like, oh, I'm just trying to protect everyone on this flight, and this is unfair, and you all should be protecting them like we are. And but it turns into this, like, this one seeming vigilante who's wanting to protect us from a pop sound. And doing so by basically attacking a child's balloon. And kind of physically goes for it. It was a whole thing. Now, luckily, because I have been on flights where there are flight attendants who are not having that, who are like, someone's got to get off. This is not happening. And this was a few years ago, so maybe tensions are higher. People are more strung out now. Perhaps this would not be the outcome that happens now. But what happened then was we had some pretty patient flight attendants. I heard them call the pilot, let them know that there's a situation that they're dealing with, nothing dire, that they just need a few extra minutes to talk to people. They all calm everybody down, including the parents, who at this point are pretty upset, and the child, who's also upset because the child is internalizing that they perhaps did something wrong by having this Disneyland balloon on the flight. Nobody's backing down. And basically what was discussed was, if this balloon pops, we will all be aware that it is going to pop. We are going to let the child have their balloon. And we are grateful that you, sir, have shared this concern with us. If it pops, we will all be aware and ready for the popping, and we'll keep special notes of it during, the takeoff especially. We'll know. And should that happen, we will cross that bridge when we get there and get on the PA system and let everyone know that that was just a balloon popping and that we're all okay. Because the flight attendant validated this man's feelings and validated the experience of the parents of like, it's totally understandable you want your child to keep this balloon, and the kid, it's totally understandable that you want this balloon. And then also like had the man be seen and we're validating like, I really appreciate that you want this flight to feel safe. The emotional jujitsu that this flight attendant was doing was awesome. And it calmed everyone down. And though we were a bit delayed, we ended up going in the air and we got to our destination and everything was fine. And here's the kicker. And some of you who may already know what it is to take a balloon in an airplane saw this coming, or some of you who understand physics saw this coming. The balloon in the air, because of the pressure, doesn't pop, it actually deflates. So when we got to the destination, both sides ended up being kind of wrong. Like, it was unnecessary to bring this balloon from Disneyland to try and keep it as a memento for a long period of time, because it basically deflated almost the whole way on the plane. And it was wrong of the guy to be freaking out, because the opposite, the balloon was not overinflating, it was deflating. The opposite of what you thought was going to happen actually happened. So I'm sure I'm not the only one who remembers by the time the flight landed the hullabaloo before we took off. But I remember looking at the balloon and thinking, they were all wrong. The only person who was right in that situation was that incredible flight attendant who was able to help people feel seen in a situation that could have gone any number of ways, including popping off, which I use ironically. I think the lesson that I learned from this experience is not just the way that that flight attendant made everyone seem validated and seen, which was an amazing lesson, but it was also like let's cross bridges when we get there. At the time, I wasn't yet a parent where I had this thing happen. I wasn't yet a parent, so I didn't yet realize how valuable a lesson it is to know that you do not need to worry about something until it is in front of you. The fallacy of that and any other piece of advice, if you want to take it to the extreme, is like, yeah, there are things you can prepare for. There are things you should be aware of. There are things you can do that are in your power that if you do them now will help make sure that, negative things don't happen in the future. I am not saying like, we shall be passive. I am, however, saying that if that person who is really upset had sipped a little bit of that tea and been like, hey, I'm going to call over the flight attendant because I obviously don't understand physics, but I'm nervous that that balloon is going to pop and it's going to scare everyone. So instead of being so convinced that it will and so angry and take it out on the kid and everyone else involved, instead, I'm going to just call him over and say, hey, I need you to know that this is something that I'm concerned about. And I want it to, I want everyone to be prepared should this happen. And let the parents know and and if that happens, then we can cross that bridge. Now, that's exactly what the flight attendant did, was basically like, we will cross the bridge of this balloon popping when we get there. But first we have to get to where we're going. So let's get there. And validated everyone's feelings in the process. And what I think that does is it validates for me my own anxiety. So when I say I'll cross that bridge when we get there, if we get there, I'm like, okay, I understand and I appreciate the part of myself that is trying to keep me safe right now. There is a part of my anxiety, there's a part of my nervousness, there's a part of my the rattling off monkey mind in my head that is saying like, hey, I'm super worried that if this happens, that this happens, and it's trying to keep me safe, and it's trying to help me out, and it's trying to make me prepared for whatever may come. And if I just ignore it and I say, no, you're full of it, that's not gonna happen, it only gets louder. It only gets angrier. It's like the guy. It's like, no, it's gonna happen. But if I say, okay, thank you so much, you're right, that could happen. But the tools that we may need to face that situation, we will find in that moment. So let's just get to that moment before we worry about what tools we're going to need. That is a completely different life perspective. And it has made my life, especially as a parent, cross the bridge when you get there, if you get there, it has made my life so much better. And also now I know that if you are on a flight with a balloon, that balloon is not going to last and it is not going to overinflate, it's going to deflate. So a series of valuable life lessons right there. All right, thank you so much for your time. I'm Briana Hansen, and I will talk to you soon.